Yeah, it's 25 games, 8 weeks of starts.
taxing every other day on his bad knees
Mhm.
is not that realistic. So
We
I
didn't feel
think,
like that 2 days ago, did we?
no, I kind of felt like maybe he was building towards something that he could look like a true number one guy. And
Mhm.
to me, that's a guy that could play every other night for a month and a
And,
half.
and he did that for the start of the season, right? In October, he did. Like, I mean,
Did
Wall,
did he have did he ever the one thing that
like he,
bothered me, and I know you guys felt the same way, is that we didn't look at Tuesday night.
7 starts in October. So, I mean, that's a starter's workload over a month, right? And he was really good.
It is. But the one thing that stood out for us and why the three of us collectively agreed that it's interesting that they didn't go to Wall
I wanted
was
them to go to
was
Steelers. That was my whole thing.
was the night that he had in New Jersey. That was just not a normal game. It had to have been, I don't want to speak for the man, but that must have been the most taxing night of his career.
Yeah, 38 saves
Like,
and 39 shots.
can you imagine he said, no, I've
Crease
been
battles.
busier, or, I've had busier or tougher nights than that night.
Yeah.
So to go back to him with 1 day's rest was rather surprising. And maybe it was to see if he could handle it.
Yeah, you've said that, and I think that's given them a lot of credit. I don't know that's to me. It feels like goalie good, goalie go in, not like, hey, let's see what we got here. And maybe it was. Maybe they deserve the credit there of that. They're
I'm
thinking
not,
bigger picture.
I don't think I'm giving him credit. I'm just saying that if it might have just been okay, that's another reason why to start him.
Yeah.
Besides that, we don't want Wall to play 2 out of 3 on the weekend.
Between December 2nd and December 23rd, that's 22 nights. The Leafs have 12 games. 12 games in 22 nights. That's a ton of hockey.
Yeah.
We've talked about these guys' workload, and I think on this show yesterday, I just said, Wolves playing very well. I just, why not just, they're both going to play a ton. Let's just alternate, go back and forth, whatever. I didn't say that because I thought Stolarz would get hurt. I just, so it's not revisionist history as you and JD called us last night.
Mhm.
It's not at all revisionist history because I said it before the game happened that it should have been an alternating schedule. I don't think because he played, that's why he got injured. I don't know that if Wall had gone in, he wouldn't have got injured. Or if Wall had gone in, he played bad.
The chances of Stolarz getting hurt more than were there based on how taxing he was Tuesday night and his history of his knees.
Right.
Sure.
So it's not even for me. It's this guy, the chances, the percentages of Stolarz getting hurt last night were a lot higher than Wall.
Mm-hmm.
See, I think that's just so easy to say now. Because
of course.
it's the easiest thing in the world to say now, Kip. Like, if he had started Saturday and he got hurt, would you be saying the same thing? Like, it could have happened in any game.
I just felt
the guy had the best game of his life, and the coach rewarded it for him. So what? Like, it's pro sports.
But that's not.
But managing these guys is part of why they're cheap.
Like, you're talking as if there's no knee issues or there's nothing.
I know
you're just having them even, and you can never do that. You can't do that.
The guy earned the start. That's what happens in professional sports. You play well, you earn a start. He thought he'd give him the best chance to win. He's available. The coach says, hey, which guy's playing better? The guy that had the best save.
Sammy, if it was Tuesday night to maybe Friday night or Tuesday to Saturday,
game 2,
I'm with you. From Tuesday, 48 hours later, to put that guy in 48 hours later off that workload surprised me, and it surprised you too.
It did surprise me.
It wasn't based on just another start. That was a very tough night for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's like it's impossible for me to sit here and say that like you guys are wrong because would you know? But like
But I'm not even saying that's why he got hurt.
I could never sit here and say that it was the wrong decision to start Anthony Stolarz last night.
Well,
that I will never sit here and say that the guy who. Like we've said, play good, go in, play bad.
But I'm not that guy. I've never been play good, go in.
But the coach is.
Yeah.
The coach is that old school type of guy.
Right.
He watched his guy give him a absolutely amazing start that won them the game. and he went back to him.
And
I
the
have
point
no
I made
problem
is that
with
exposes you to critique when it goes wrong. And it went as
Yes.
wrong as it possibly could go.
We're still talking about a guy that's never played more than, 40 games in his career?
27
I mean,
is a career high.
Well,
for,
yeah,
for a
okay.
season, I
No,
think.
that's Wall.
Oh, here we go. This is
right?
career high
We
games played.
are talking about a guy that's never played at the level he's playing right now.
The reason he's 2.5 million and not 10.5 million is that he's never done the starter's workload. And so once he's done that, if he continues to be the best goalie in the league as he has been the last couple of years, you go,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
He's
And I'm the first one to say, yeah, Kipper, hindsight's 20/20, right?
And
It's
it is,
easy.
for sure. It is.
Look in the rearview mirror, but we are factoring all these things in.
I'm way more worried about Joseph Wall's health than I am of Anthony Stolar's health.
yeah.
So you start Joseph Wall in that game, it's maybe more likely that he gets hurt
Yeah.
in that game. So I think he needs
That's
more
fair.
time off.
That's fair.
Than Stolar's does.
So now we have a story because you feel like Wall is the risky one
For sure.
to put in.
Yeah.
Stolaris has
I
now
got Stolars.
Now
as the
Stolaris has
risky guy.
demonstrated
Yeah.
that it's at least a concern now.
Multiple knee injuries
On a non-play, he got
that
hurt.
he thought his career may have been over, that he would never get himself healthy again. We are talking about a very long list of knee issues the man has had to get to this point.
So whether it's Wool or whether it's Stolaris, that's more concerning. The Leafs have two of these guys, and they're the best goalies in the league. They're first and fourth in save percentage in the NHL. And so this is a very unique conundrum where it's like we have amazing goalies, but who can we play? And
Who can we get over the finish line?
And
to
who's
be
going to be
ready?
left to go to battle?
What was the number one talking point about these guys
Health.
at the start of the year?
Yes.
We've completely papered over it because of how incredibly they
I don't think we
played.
papered
no,
over it.
but like
I don't think we papered over it.
No. At the start of the season, we were doing our preseason shows. We talked about these guys have the potential to be great, but we kind of stopped talking about it since Wall's been back.
Yeah.
And you're kind of just cruising along. And then
Well, you don't
one of
wanna
these
be
guys
the-
getting hurt on a wrister, it's like a cold glass of water thrown in your face. You're like,
Exactly
oh
right.
my God.
That's exactly it.
But we're not going to sit here too and be the
When they're going well and
dickheads
being
going,
like, yeah,
hey,
but
just wait till they get hurt. Oh yeah, Sammy, enjoy while you can. That guy's going to get hurt. We're not going to do that either.
I thought, okay.
I'm fine with not criticizing Stolaris going in. I'm fine with that.
I thought it's a nice move by a coach for the guy that carried him throughout the early part of the season. He had a great start and he earned it. And he's going to have to make a career high in saves. In starts anyway. So what's one extra?
But I think it exposes they don't have that luxury. They don't have that luxury of going into it mindless, best guys in. Like they have to do real management the rest of the way.
Yeah. And if you were a little relaxed like we've been and the fan base have probably been in,
It's a wake-up call.
it's a wake-up call
Big
to
time.
say you guys better be perfect on when these guys need a rest and when they don't.
Well, and I think what's really important here is that you're going to get Dennis Hildeby a game this weekend, presumably. And I think you are very likely, between the two goalies we're talking about, to have Hildeby as your backup in playoffs now. And are you comfortable with that? Because if one of the two of them, between the two of them, it's likely you're going to have an injury at some point. Hildeby is, I think there's a 30% chance Hildeby plays playoff games.
Oh.
And so do you not want him in now to have this problem now? Get him into games, get him feeling comfortable at the NHL level, seeing.
The Toronto Maple Leafs may be taking a new approach to salary management, which could directly impact Mitch Marner's contract negotiations. During Kyle Dubas' tenure as general manager, the team didn't hesitate to spend heavily, and this trend began with a 6-year extension signed by Marner in 2019. At the time, Marner's $10.9 million annual cap hit set the market for superstar wingers, surpassing comparable players like Mikko Rantanen of the Colorado Avalanche, who signed a 6-year deal with a $9.25 million annual cap hit. Now, however, times seem to be changing. TSN's Pierre LeBrun recently reported that the Maple Leafs have implemented an internal salary cap, aiming to ensure no player earns more than captain Austin Matthews, who signed a 4-year extension worth $13.25 million per season in August 2023. The team's primary concern revolves around Marner's agent, Darren Ferris, who, according to LeBron, might push for a percentage of the total salary cap instead of a fixed dollar amount. This could result in Marner's cap hit exceeding Matthews' $13.25 million, conflicting with the Leafs' new financial strategy. Ferris is known for driving negotiations to the limit, often taking his clients to free agency. This raises fears that discussions between Marner and the Leafs could drag on until July 1st, giving Marner and his camp all the leverage in negotiations. Another complicating factor is the rising market. LeBron noted that Mikko Rantanen believes he could secure $14 million per season as a free agent. This sparks the question, could Marner demand even more? And would Ferris take that gamble, knowing the Leafs might opt to move on and sign another player? Marner has made it clear on multiple occasions that Toronto is where he wants to be. As a local player with deep ties to the city, he's expressed his desire to spend his entire career wearing the blue and white of the Leafs. However, staying with the team may require him to accept less than market value, especially if the front office remains committed to its new salary structure. Such a sacrifice could be vital for the team's collective success and to avoid financial issues that have plagued the recent past. While negotiations are still in the early stages, it's evident that Marner's future with the Leafs is at stake. Maple Leafs fans may need to prepare for the possibility of significant changes, but they can also trust in the player's commitment to the city and the franchise to find a compromise. The Maple Leafs' decision to implement an internal salary cap reflects a broader shift in their team-building philosophy. After years of prioritizing top-end talent with hefty contracts, the organization appears determined to strike a balance between superstar contracts and depth throughout the roster. This strategy aims to avoid the pitfalls of past seasons, where a lack of financial flexibility often left the team vulnerable in critical playoff moments. For Mitch Marner, this shift creates a unique challenge. On one hand, his value to the Leafs is undeniable. A consistent top scorer and elite playmaker, Marner has been instrumental in driving the team's offense. On the other hand, his ability to command a salary that rivals or exceeds Auston Matthews could put the Leafs in a difficult position, especially with a potential need to strengthen other areas of the roster. As the 2023-24 season progresses, the Leafs must weigh the potential consequences of sticking to their cap philosophy. Losing a homegrown talent like Marner would undoubtedly sting for fans and the organization alike. However, allowing one player to dictate financial terms beyond the team's structure could hinder long-term success and force painful sacrifices elsewhere. Adding to the complexity is the looming free agency of William Nylander. If the Leafs are to stick to their internal salary cap, they may also face challenges in retaining Nylander, who could command a significant raise. Balancing contracts for both Marner and Nylander within the new framework could prove to be the ultimate test for Toronto's management team. Another factor at play is the team's ultimate goal, winning the Stanley Cup. While star players like Marner and Matthews are crucial, history has shown that depth and balanced rosters often prevail in the postseason. If the Leafs fail to manage their finances effectively, they risk falling short of building a championship-caliber team, even with elite talent. For Marner, the decision to stay with the Leafs might come down to more than just dollars. His connection to the city, the fans, and his teammates could be deciding factors. If he prioritizes legacy and loyalty over maximizing earnings, there's a strong possibility that he'll work with the team to find a deal that benefits both parties. Negotiations will also test Darren Ferris, known for his hardline tactics in securing lucrative deals for his clients. While pushing for top dollar is expected, Ferris may need to weigh the risks of alienating the Leafs management and fanbase. A prolonged stalemate could damage Marner's relationship with the team and its supporters. The Leafs management, led by general manager Brad Treliving, faces a pivotal moment. Treliving's reputation as a negotiator and team builder will be on full display as he navigates this high-stakes scenario. Striking the right balance could solidify his tenure in Toronto, while a misstep might set the team back for years. For Maple Leafs fans, the coming months will be filled with anticipation and uncertainty. Marner's future, along with the team's ability to stay competitive under financial constraints, will likely dominate conversations as the season unfolds. Supporters can only hope that the team's new approach leads to greater playoff success and, ultimately, the elusive championship. In the end, the outcome of these negotiations could redefine the Maple Leafs' identity for years to come. Whether it results in retaining Marner or reshaping the roster, the team's commitment to an internal salary cap signals a clear focus on long-term sustainability. Fans will be watching closely, hoping for a resolution that keeps the team's core intact and their championship dreams alive. As the negotiations with Mitch Marner progress, another layer of complexity is added by the external competition in the NHL market. Teams with more cap space and fewer restrictions could easily present lucrative offers to Marner if he reaches free agency. The Leafs are not only negotiating with Marner but also indirectly competing with other franchises willing to outbid them for his services. One example of this is Mikko Rantanen, whose potential $14 million value on the open market highlights the growing demand for elite wingers. If Rantanen secures such a deal, it could set a precedent that Marner's camp would use as leverage. The Leafs, however, must remain disciplined, as breaking their internal salary cap for Marner could lead to similar demands from other key players down the line. The looming specter of free agency means the Leafs have a limited window to strike a deal. If negotiations drag on into the off-season, the leverage shifts heavily in favor of Marner and his agent. Darren Ferris, known for his strategic patience, could use this to push for maximum value, putting even greater pressure on the Leafs management to make a decision. This scenario also places significant pressure on head coach Sheldon Keefe. Managing a team amid ongoing contract uncertainty can disrupt chemistry and focus. Keefe will need to ensure that the team remains united and focused on their performance, even as the media and fans speculate about Marner's future. Meanwhile, the Leafs core group, including Austin Matthews, Morgan Rielly, and John Tavares, will likely play a role in influencing Marner's decision. The camaraderie among the players and their collective drive for a championship could persuade Marner to accept a deal that aligns with the team's financial structure. On the flip side, the Leafs could explore contingency plans if a deal with Marner doesn't materialize. Trading Marner would be a bold move, but it could bring significant assets in return, potentially bolstering the team in areas like defense or secondary scoring. This option, while unpopular with fans, might be necessary to maintain roster balance. The timing of these decisions is also critical. With the trade deadline months away, the Leafs must assess whether keeping Marner without an extension risks losing him for nothing in free agency. A preemptive trade could avoid this scenario, but it would also signal a significant shift in the team's short-term goals. Fan sentiment will undoubtedly influence the team's approach. Marner is not just an exceptional player, he's a fan favorite and a symbol of homegrown talent succeeding in Toronto. Losing him could lead to backlash, especially if the team struggles in the aftermath of his departure. The broader NHL landscape also plays a role. As other teams navigate their own salary cap challenges, the Leafs can learn from their successes and failures. Organizations like the Tampa Bay Lightning and Vegas Golden Knights have shown the value of balancing star power with depth, offering a potential blueprint for Toronto's future.